Here we have verse 1 of the 4th chapter of the Gospel of John. This is now a different setting. We've had a conversation which was extended rather significantly that began with Nicodemus and continued, in which Jesus, of course, was baptizing alongside John, but separate from him. And Jesus, we learn now as we begin this 4th chapter, was actually drawing a greater following, making more disciples, conducting more baptisms than even John himself. There were some people who were concerned that John might take umbrage at that he might be offended that Jesus was, in a sense, moving ahead of him in popular support. But of course, John has no interest of that kind in his mind. But we do see here now the ongoing discussion of this particular aspect of the story. Hos, this is a particle in Greek. It means as or when. A variety of different meanings could be associated. Here it usually is rendered when. Hos un, therefore, egno. This is the third person singular aorist, active indicative of gnosko, irregular in the way that it's formed. Ho Jesus. So when Jesus therefore knew, hoti, that, ekuson, third person plural, aorist active indicative of akuo, they hear, so it's they heard. When Jesus knew that hoi Pharisaioi had heard. So Jesus knew that the Pharisees had heard, hoti, that, Jesus, Jesus, pleonas. This is a adjective. It's comparative in nature. It means more than, and in this case it's saying that Jesus knew that the Pharisees had heard that more mathetas, disciples, poie, this is from poieo, third person singular. The word means to make or to do, in this case to make. So the Pharisees had heard that Jesus was making more disciples, kai baptize, and baptizing more disciples, a. The comparative particle that's used with pleonos, so it's more than would be the idea. The than really is what's implied there, iones, and then it, of course, ends right there. We might put a ... to say that the sentence is going to continue. The sense that we have from the text, however, thus far, is that John the Baptist had already been creating problems. There was already some feeling that John was a difficulty from the point of view of the religious leadership in Jerusalem, and they had taken a fairly hostile stance toward him. And now we find out that Jesus is making things even worse. This Jesus, who had gone into Jerusalem, cleansed the temple, caused it a disruption, is now actually beginning to present more of a difficulty than John the Baptist had. So we have a sense of foreboding in the text that there's going to be some negative reprisals that are probably going to flow from the fact that the Pharisees have heard that Jesus is up to these kinds of activities.